Hey, good morning. It's Alan Lott here. Hey, I want to make a quick video about selecting a concealed carry. If you are in the market for concealed carry, you've done all the education and everything, or you're just simply authorized to carry concealed, then here's some items that you might want to think about. Okay, so I divided it up into three. The three topics is when you're selecting a pistol to purchase, number one, ask yourself, what am I going to use it for? Am I going to use it for plinking, shooting targets? Am I going to use it for home defense or a CCW or whatever the case may be? What am I going to use it with? What am I going to use it for? The second thing is, what caliber do I want to have? Do I want a 44 Magnum? Do I want a 357 Magnum? Do I want 45, 9mm, 380 or whatever? And that has a lot to do with what you're going to use it for. Number three, future. What am I going to use it for? I may want a pistol for home defense now, but oh, by the way, maybe one day I'll get a CCW. And if that happens, am I going to backpedal and go buy another gun? Or am I looking for only one gun that will cover everything so I'm not buying a whole bunch of guns? Now, a lot of people out there want one gun. That's it. They just want to buy one gun and they want to cover it all categories. Some people will say, well, this gun fits a little bit weird. I'm going to buy another one. And they don't think anything about it. This is for those people who are not building an arsenal in their house, that just wants to be a gun owner. And they want to have a gun that covers all categories. So first of all, what am I going to use? What am I going to, or the caliber I'm going to use, and then in the future. So here's some items to think about. This is a XD45, or I'm sorry, an XD40. It's a subcompact. It's small. As you can see, it's a little bit thicker. And the reason why is because it has a double stack magazine, meaning that the rounds are stacked kind of at an angle, and so when you're all done, you have a double stack, so it holds more rounds. Those are typically heavier and thicker. This one is a revolver. A revolver, this one is a Smith & Wesson Airway. This one has 5 shots. Yes, they do make them for 6 shots, but this one is very concealable, very I call it a pocket gun. You can throw it in your pocket and people don't know you have it. It also is a plug and play type weapon. No external safeties. It doesn't have an external hammer on it, which means it's always double action. Very good for home defense or concealed. Doesn't have a lot of testosterone following like big guy. Oh, I gotta have a big gun, because it's a revolver and it only has 5 shots. This is a 38 caliber. If you're going to get a revolver, you might want to think about a 357 Magnum. Most of those you can put, well, all of them you can put a 38 round in it or a 357. So it gives you some versatility. But these are very good, have a very good, they're very valid in the concealed carry world. Don't let anybody tell you that revolvers are outdated. They're very good. They just don't hold a lot of rounds. And that's where all the men, oh, I got to have a whole bunch of rounds. Dude, you're not going into sustained combat with these things. I wouldn't advise you to take one of these into a combat situation. However, self-defense or home defense, they're just fine. This right here is a 9mm. This is the, just hit the roster on California. It is a Ruger Max 9. Very cool. Now this right here is a laser. I put a laser on it because my eyes don't concentrate on the front sight post like they used to back in the day. I zero it, and now all I got to do is point, push on the laser, and I'm good to go. This one's very concealable. You can see right there, it's almost like a pocket gun. And it holds 10 rounds in the magazine and 1 in the chamber. So it's 10 and 1. This is equipped with an external safety right here on this side. It has, you can see that white. That means the safety's on, the safety's off. The one thing I love about this safety is, number one, it sticks out, so it's obviously there. But when it's on, it's a slide lock as well as a trigger lock. So bad guy comes in the house, you start to engage, and you're pulling the trigger, and it won't do anything. In my mind, because fine motor skills go out the window. My mind, I'm thinking there's not a round in there. So I try to pull back and the slide's locked. That reminds me, oh crap, it's got a safety, and I take the safety off. By the way, tidbit, if you have a gun with an external safety, you need to train with that external safety. Pulling out of holster, safety comes off. Pulling back in the holster, safety goes on. All that stuff. Do not carry a gun with an external safety with it on fire. Don't do that. That is just wrong. Now, that's my opinion. I'm sure there's other firearms instructors out there that will differ with me, but I'm a very hard set black and white on that. If you are going to choose a gun with an external safety, you owe it to yourself and the people you carry around to know how to defeat that safety in times of stress. Period. That's just the way it is. All right, so what do I do? What do I choose? Do I want a thicker gun, double stack magazine, 40 caliber? Will a revolver do 5 shots? But I can put a laser grip on that like this one has. Or is a 9mm magazine fed with a comparable 10 round magazine? Well, number one, what am I going to use it for? Oh, home defense. Maybe get a CCW at some point. 2, what caliber do I want? Home defense, maybe a 38 or a 9mm. And in the future, am I going to buy a gun if I decide to actually get a CCW? Probably not. I don't want to own a whole lot of guns. That leaves you between the revolver and that Max 9, because I would have to push the XD40 out. It's too thick, too big, and it's 40. So it doesn't fit your number 2 criteria of what caliber. Just go out there, research your calibers, find out exactly what you want. Test fire a lot of them. At some of these ranges, they allow you to go in there and actually test fire. But just have a plan when you go in there. To walk into a gun store, it can be daunting. Oh, I'm thinking about buying a gun. And all of a sudden, the salesman, who, by the way, doesn't work on commission, will ask you, well, what are you going to use it for? I don't know. If you just want a gun, just to own a gun, to be called yourself, so you can call yourself a gun owner, that's fine. Be truthful with them so they can say, hey, look, here's your options here. All right? But remember, me, if I have big burly hands, for instance, and my pinky doesn't have a home on this thing, I want the gun, I'm going to buy the gun. I don't care that my pinky doesn't have a home. I'll train with it until my pinky feels satisfied. But if you come in and you say, I want a concealed gun, a concealable gun, but I want a full-size pistol grip, buy a full-size gun. It's not concealable. It doesn't matter. Your pinky doesn't always have a home. Let's face it, you don't use your pinky all the time to pick your nose, do you? Sometimes you got to dig in there. Same thing with shooting. Don't worry about it. Get the gun you want so that you can employ it the way you want to employ it. As soon as you have a gun and you have decided that I'm going to use this gun to protect me and my offspring or those around me, then you need to find out exactly what the laws pertain to that issue is, all right? Because once you pull the trigger on somebody, take my word for it, once you pull the trigger on somebody, you cannot reach back and pull that round back. And there's psychological issues with it as well as legal issues with it, all right? Tidbits, DM me, you got any questions? I know it's a big gray area, but some things you need to think about. All right, Alan Lott out.